We're coming back maybe September. The next fight should be in the fall. The fall. We're fighting in the fall. Fighting in the fall. We don't know yet. Either Pac-Man or Spence. That's what's next.
Don't know yet. Either Pac-Man or Spence. That's what's next.
Yo, this just in, breaking news. Danny Swift Garcia says he's back in the fall and he's going to be fighting Manny Pacquiao or Errol Spence Jr. and we going to talk about it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Speaking of Patreon, head over to Patreon. I got some new stuff. It's revamped, started from scratch, very easy to read, and I'll be shifting some of the content over to the Patreon and YouTube channel member side of things. More information in the description box. Click that link or hit the join button next to the subscribe button to become a YouTube channel member. And I got a lot of stuff that I'm working on. Now, Danny Garcia, you guys heard the clip at the beginning. He went on Instagram Live and on his social media, he says he's coming back soon in the fall. He said they're working on it. They're working on it. I'm going to fight either Manny Pacquiao or Errol Spence Jr. And that's what he said. And like I said, you guys heard it at the beginning. I want to talk about it, give my thoughts. Before I get started, make sure you guys use the link in the description to get ESPN Plus. ESPN Plus, the home of a lot of original, exclusive BTS content. It's a great app with a lot of content, constantly updated. Right now, they got UFC Florida going on, so make sure you guys get it. They got classic fights like Mayweather versus Pacquiao. You can get it as a standalone app by itself by clicking that link, or you can group it with ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. All three apps, one price, $12.99 a month. So it does help the channel when you guys click on that link. Shout out to everybody that's already used the link. Danny Garcia versus Errol Spence or Manny Pacquiao. Sign me up. This pandemic has been rough in terms of combat sports. It really pushed and cast everything off to the side. So I don't know the logistics. This is obviously coming from the fighter, hasn't been formally announced from PBC, but I would imagine Danny Garcia is at the point of his career, age 30 so, you know, where he's in the know and he has a little bit of control of his career. So I don't think he would just say something like that unless there were some indications that that's what it was going to be. Now, we do know for a fact that Errol Spence, before his accident, was targeted and scheduled to fight Danny Garcia a week before this year's Super Bowl 2020. But that accident was another unpredictable occurrence, just like this pandemic, that kind of threw that fight off track. You know, they were supposed to fight in January, and it's crazy to think, you know, when in hindsight, looking back at the pandemic now that we're currently in, it's crazy to think that we would have already watched a major fight with Errol Spence and Danny Garcia, but it didn't play out like that for obvious reasons with that Errol Spence accident. And as a result, we haven't really had a major fight. You know, there was a couple little fights. It was looking like the promoters weren't really giving up their good-ish until maybe the summer, and they're going to heat up and, you know, see what people were doing in the first quarter. The first quarter was pretty light, and then we come into this pandemic. So hopefully this kicks the big fights off. I don't care. I guess do it in a studio setting, and I'll be really impressed with PBC if they get this fight off in a studio setting and actually pull the trigger on a big fight. You know, all it's going to take is for somebody to do it and to run the fight and do a major fight, pay-per-view or whatever the case is, behind closed doors, and have it be a success with all this stuff that's happening in the world. You know, I don't even want to say the word because the YouTube algorithm, but you guys know what I'm talking about with the pandemic. And, you know, I think it'll be a great fight. I've been looking forward to great welterweight action. The welterweight division is stacked, and we need to start weeding through to see the who's who. We know basically who the top 5-6 guys are. Danny Garcia is one of them. Errol Spence is one of them. Terrence Crawford, Manny Pacquiao, Sean Porter. You know, these guys are all on the top. You can even say Keith Thurman. I don't know how many people that was, but these are the top guys. They all kind of got to play round robin and musical chairs and fight each other. So this is a positive sign that Danny Garcia is saying basically the plan is to fight Errol Spence or Manny Pacquiao. Danny did already fight in January, I think it was, against Ivan Redkach, who bit him, you know, and that's good because he got one out. A lot of other people like Errol Spence and Sean Porter, none of them have really fought. Manny Pacquiao, none of them have fought. So it's going to be interesting. Like I said, I'll be impressed if PBC can get this off and do this major fight without a crowd or whatever the situation may be. Errol Spence versus Danny Garcia. Listen, it's a good fight because Errol Spence, we don't really know too much. You never really know until you get in the fight, but with his accident, you never know. I think that's the lingering question that everyone wants to know. Everyone's hoping for the best, but nobody knows how somebody will look coming off of something that catastrophic. Now, Danny Garcia, even if Errol Spence had never went through the accident, I still think the Danny Garcia Spence fight is underrated. You've seen Errol Spence, he was in a tough fight with Sean Porter. Sean Porter and Danny Garcia was a tough fight. Danny is very smart. Danny is a power puncher. Heavy hands. Keith Thurman recently said in the interview that the guy that hit him the hardest was Danny Garcia, and it was a shoulder shot. So, you know, people sleep on Danny Garcia for whatever reason. I like Errol Spence. I like all the top welterweights, to be honest. You know, and I've interviewed and, you know, worked with a lot of them, and it's just a good fight. I think you can't sleep on Errol Spence. You can't sleep on Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia has great timing, good counterpuncher, heavy hands, a lot of experience, and he has a hell of a chin, very durable. But Errol Spence, he's a menace. He's a great body puncher. He said he's controlling his weight a bit more now. And it's just all the way around a good fight. Pacquiao, I don't even have to get into too much. Pacquiao's a legend, Hall of Famer. He looked excellent versus Keith Thurman. You better not duck me, Thun. So why not? You know, Pacquiao still shows he got some in the can. And, you know, he's ready for whatever with the tricky style. Awkward. Pacquiao got more experience than all these guys. This dude got like 70 fights. 70 plus fights. So Pacquiao versus Spence versus Danny, Sean Porter, any of these are good fights. All these top fights are good. Everybody that I named in the top 5 or 6, and then you can even include Ugas and like top 7s and stuff. These are all great fights. The only person I feel bad for in the end is Terrence Crawford because this kind of keeps him out of the loop. And Danny Garcia and Errol Spence, the winner of that fight is going to go on, have belts, have multiple belts, keep claiming a part of the welterweight history and stake in the welterweight division. And I feel like Crawford, he just has to get the types of names that he wants. And I know he wants those fights, but it's all about facilitating those fights. And with the sides of the street and the promotional warfare, the landscape of boxing, he don't look like in the power position to manifest all these fights that he says he wants. You see what I'm saying? His promoter hasn't been able to secure those. He's getting like Mean Machine mandatories and Amir Khan, who quit in the fight. So that didn't really do much for Crawford, you know, his brand that we don't already know. We know Crawford is a terrific fighter. Even Jeff Horn, I thought Jeff Horn lost to Pacquiao, you know, and they gave it to him. So you got to look at these different nuanced things. And if Danny Garcia Spence fight or Danny Garcia and Pacquiao fight, this is going to really help shape the division, and the winner will be a champion. So it's kind of like Crawford, if he can't get these names, will end up getting left behind as a terrific fighter, not getting the fights he needs, just like Demetrius Andrade. Let me know how I did in this video and what you guys think of my assessment. Shout out to Danny Garcia for the news update and PBC. Hopefully they can get this across the line. Crowd, no crowd. Hope everyone's being safe right now. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. If you love what I'm doing, smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.